guy who was a Marine, but he was later on. And he's a guy right just across the coals.
Oh.
I mean, we were nothing to him. Well, anyway, he made this, their personnel guy, the guy that was over, their guy that was handling their PR deal, he made a remark. I said, I started in the book, and early in the book, I said, which I was going to take issue with later in the book, and I didn't wait until the 20th chapter to do it. But he was saying that out of all of the Medal of Honors they got, the one that Faith got, he said, in other words, he got his for doing his job, for supposedly doing his job and not very well at that. And I said, well, that part, I said, I have to take issue with, but it'll be later in the book. Well, anyway, I got in here at, we pulled in on the 27th. Well, the 27th, I got to look at the Medal of Honor winner. There was a Medal of Honor winner on the 26th over on the Marine side. And I said, well, as far as we were concerned, there was no friction going on the 26th. So I'm going back to the books, and one of the books I got, it was by Eric Hamill, which wrote a pretty good book, and he was saying there was, in other words, they didn't get to Udon Knee. They didn't go to Tokton Pass till the 23rd to go over to seize Udon Knee. Well, that meant that was in their zone for like 10 days. They never went over there, Tokton Pass. And in this review oral history from General Smith said Litzenberg, which was over the 7th Regiment, he didn't want to go over Tokton Pass. He didn't want to go there. Well, apparently, Smith's the general. He said, well, okay, I agree with you. You don't want to go, you don't have to go. But it says, then, Smith says, the pressure was put on me. I finally had to tell Litzenberg to go over and occupy Udon Knee. Okay, so the 23rd, they started over there. They've been there since the 13th of November. They've been there, and so they go over there. And apparently, what I call is leaving their back gate open. They had 7 miles from Tokton Pass in that area. They didn't go over there. They didn't send patrols over there. So what happened was the Chinese were taking advantage of this as a staging area. So they sent out what they called, and everybody says you don't do that, they sent out what they called a 170-man reconnaissance patrol. Oh. They said, now in the first place, that's an awful noisy reconnaissance patrol. You send out maybe 7 men on a reconnaissance patrol. You don't spend 170. Well, it was A Company of the 7th Regiment. Well, they went out there, and Frank Mitchell was with them. First Lieutenant Frank Mitchell was with them. Well, he was kind of leading the platoon. So he went out, or he's second lieutenant. So he went out, and they got into this hornet's nest of the Chinese. Well, apparently there's nothing like a call for reinforcements or anything. Well, it was getting dark, and Mitchell was wounded. Well, Mitchell in return, because I got a citation thing, Mitchell was, went up there to grab the machine gun. He was defending, throwing grenades and everything. Well, eventually he was killed, you know what I mean? So the platoon commander, the first lieutenant, he comes along and he okay, so you've got him dead and there's 2 other guys dead there. And he said, it was getting dark, and he said he found out there was a number of enemy they couldn't determine. So that he was going to withdraw. Now I said, to me, the heck with the morning issue. You found the Marines, the enemy, you've engaged him. He's in your area. Forget the off thing. You got him right here. All bets are off. The war started. We're late anyway. Well, anyway, these guys said the platoon leader said, it would just be plain dumb to stay around and retrieve their bodies. Well, the Marines say they always bring back their own.
Oh, yeah.
So he said it was an agonizing thing to leave them there under the stars. But there was no doubt about it, they'd come back in the morning and retrieve them. So they went back, and then apparently Smith says the Marine was cleared of the enemy in the area. Well, the next morning they didn't get back there because the 27th at 800 they were supposed to start their thing from John Gate. Well, by the time 8 o'clock come in the morning, Litzenberg had assigned these guys to another hill. So forget Mitchell. Well, apparently, I think there was a guilt trip there. So let's give Mitchell a medal. You know, one of those, man, he sacrificed his life. But not saying that the guilt trip is you left him there. Marines aren't supposed to do that. See, that was the thing. That was the thing when they come to us. We left our wounded. We didn't bring out our dead. We didn't bring out our trucks. And I said that really started the battle as far as I was concerned. And because I said that medal brought it to the attention. So I started studying a few of those citations. So then I come to, which was this other guy down here I'm talking to, he said he was really fond of like General Davis of the Marines that helped get that PUC for the, you know, for the Chosin Few. And he said he's a great guy. I said, well, let's put him as one of the Marines' few good men. I said, because everybody rides on their backs of those few good men. I said, but here was a man, I said, he got a Medal of Honor. But I said, no, I said, I'm not knocking him getting a Medal of Honor. But I said, he should be praised for it, but there's a stipulation in there. He was over the 1st Battalion. The 2nd Battalion, which I got all the fame of being at Fox Hill, and was supposed to be the savior of everybody that was in UNAMNI, but yet you could never get to them to rescue them because they were wrapped around by the enemy. So I went in, I told Bob about this. I said, I got this stuff where, this is Litzenberg. He's the joker. Litzenberg was a full colonel. Lieutenant Murray was over the 5th Regiment. He was not a full colonel, but they used him. They used him excessively. Puller, of course, was back at Coto Reed. He's the most famous one.
Oh, yeah.
And he was already on the waiting list because he was already promoted to general, but he wouldn't get a star yet. But he was already on the line for a brigadier general. Well anyway, Litzenberg told Davis, said, go out 3.5 miles. In other words, it's 7 miles over to Fox Company. Go over to Fox Company. Go over, rescue the men on what they call Turkey Hill because of all the bones from Turkey. Rescue those men, which was A group that left Lieutenant Mitchell back there. Go over there and rescue them off of that hill, and then continue on to Fox Company, get Fox Company, and go on to Hager Road. So Davis, okay, he goes out there. He gets over to, rescues the guys on Turkey Hill. It's getting dark. This is 3.5 miles. Litzenberg calls them back to UNAMNI. And I said, now, this is 3.5 miles, that's 7 miles round trip in enemy territory, supposed to be extensively held by enemy. He's moved 7 miles. Now remember, we can't get 4 miles. We fell apart in 4 miles. So he went 7 miles. So he comes back to UNAMNI. The next morning, they spent out what they called a makeshift battalion. They call it, according to Martin Russ, they call it a damnation battalion. They send them out with the same mission. But now since Turkey Hill is cleared, go on over and rescue Fox Company. Well, they got as far as Turkey Hill, and they run into the same roadblock of the Chinese encircling Fox Hill. They can't get to them. Litzenberg calls them back to UNAMNI. That's 7 more round trip, 7 miles. That's 14 miles they traveled and went nowhere. I said, now, the first night, Davis should have said, well, I rescued these men. We're staying overnight here with the increase we got in the men, even though we got wounded. We were staying, and in the morning we'll finish the trip and go over and try to rescue Fox Company. But Litzenberg called them back. So then the third time was when, like they said, the first, when they're going to break out, then Davis would lead them out of there, and, but he'd go another route cross country to get the Fox Company. Well, then his Medal of Honor came out, and I'm reading his citation. But the only thing in the citation, they failed to name Fox Company was the company he cleared. It said he relieved a beleaguered rifle company. It didn't say it was Fox Company. And I said, why would you do that as great as they were? Somebody relieved them. Now Fox Company had already, that meant Fox Company had already had 2 Medal of Honors. They got this one guy, Cassandra's or somebody, he picked up a grenade and he threw it out. Right. So he got a Medal of Honor.
Took his glove off.
Barber, the captain, got a Medal of Honor for holding out at Fox Company. Davis's Medal of Honor was for rescuing that company. I said, but he should have got one because it wasn't his battalion. The 2nd Battalion commander never left Hageroo. He never got there. He never went up there. He said he could have grabbed a helicopter and went up and relieved Barber. Barber was wounded. He was a captain. He didn't do it. He didn't volunteer. And then it said when Litzenberg came back, when Litzenberg came back got back to Hageroo, of course Lockwood was the guy that was the 2nd Battalion commander. Of course he went open arms, to greet Litzenberg. Litzenberg gave him God to go to hell, though. Because he didn't participate. But those Medal of Honor, so I said, well, like Davis got his, but the guy was saying that, in other words, instead of, because Faith got his because it was an upgrade from the Silver Star. It was a couple of years later. He didn't get it immediately, but it's an upgrade, and they say it's an upgrade from the Silver Star. So I said, okay, so he gets that. So then Stanford was put in. Guess who outfit he belonged to? Stanford.
Yeah.
He's a Marine over there with the radio crew.
Right.
Field Harris was equal to Smith. He was a 2-star over the squadron, the Marine squadron. So he puts in Stanford for a Medal of Honor. And they said it totally weighed down the system. Because somebody in the 7th Division, they turned it over to the Army, would have to verify what he did. And apparently it said it overloaded the system, that the Army's going to award a medal to a Marine. There's only 4 of them over there. One of them is going to get a Medal of Honor on our side. And they hadn't offered one to Faith yet. They haven't considered one for him. But and it said that the system just got bogged down, and that all he got was, I think, a Silver Star. I think Allman ended up giving Stanford a Silver Star. It was the best he got. But Field Harris wanted him to have that Medal of Honor. And I said, well, that would have been in contrast to Smith now saying, we're not entitled to anything because we did not, the reason we didn't get the Presidential Unit citation is we did absolutely nothing to help the Marines leave Hageroo because we were a disjointed unit. Yeah. We weren't a concentrated unit. And he's saying that's it. We had nothing to do with helping them leave Hageroo. Forget the battle before and what we did on each side, but we didn't contribute to that part of it. Well, it took 4 days for Litzenberg to ever get back to Hageroo to start with. And they did absolutely nothing to help Hageroo.
Took him 11 days just to get up there.
Yeah.
A mile a day.
He ordered him out of there on the 28th, and he couldn't get him out of there. He didn't want to go, and then when he got him over there, he didn't want to come out.
Wow. They were moving a mile a day from from Hageroo to Udom.
Yeah.
A mile a day.
That's what it said in
But Murray gets to lead the 5th Marines. He sends one group over on the 26th, and then the other 2 remaining groups make it there in under, by 7 o'clock, they're past Turkey Hill and coming into UDME from the east to Chosin. So my controversy is, when Smith was ordered to send help to the east side, well, you were able to get Murray and 2/3 of his group over to UDME in under 24 hours. Why didn't you have Murray's group go back there 24 hours later? Surely they could do it. They've already done it. Just saying.
Our tanks, Grant, our tanks were sent. They went back to Hageroo. They got back to Hageroo on the 30th. They got back there probably around 6:30 or 5:30 or 6 o'clock. Well, it took them an hour. They left at say about 3:30. They probably got back there around 6. Well, the next morning, or the 3rd of December, he sent our tanks with Drysdale sitting on one of the tanks over to Token Pass to try to help them relieve that on the 3rd. And it said they got over there, and they said there was Chinese off in the distance up in the hills, and it was getting dark, so the tanks were called back to Hageroo. But they were our tanks. There was no doubt about it. Dave Drake was leading the tanks, and Drysdale was sitting on top of one of them.
Wow.
And they said they wouldn't send them back to help us on the 2nd, but since Smith's in charge, he sent them.
So
You know,
on the 4th, when they start their 11-mile journey from UDME back to Hageroo, there's this convoy that goes on for like 7 miles. And the only complaints you hear about the Marines taking shots from the enemy were basically
long distance firing. They used a
pot
lot
shots.
of that.
And every once in a while you hear a guy scream out, because he got hit. So
But can
basically
you imagine-
sniper shots from way off.
Okay, can you imagine, Grant, because seeing the movie like the American Experience, you saw how close those Marines were walking out on both sides of the road, about 2 feet between them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if there was any enemy, the amount of enemy they said, and was lobbing in a mortar shell, which were pretty well out of danger. Yeah. I mean, you would have had, oh God, you would have had 3 times the Marine killed in action, and you only had less than 600 of them killed.
Yeah.
I mean, less out of the whole group.
Out of 8,800 versus 2,500.
Yeah.
Plus, if you add the Katsilas, you're looking at 3,200.
Like I said, my list I wrote to the Battlefield Commission, And what started this, I said, that's like asking the right question to a government agency, I said, could you send me, I'm looking for killed in action, or missing in action. I put missing in action for the time, from the 27th on to like the 3rd of December when the action was, because I didn't know about what went on after that. Well, the guy sends me I think 5 pages back, and there was 317 names on there. And I said, you got to be kidding me. So McLean's name was on there. So I said, well, maybe I asked the wrong question. I said missing in action. So I fired back to the guy. There was 3 columns, and there was space in there. There was her name, there was her rank, there was her serial number, and then there was the date of death. So, but there was enough room for a column. So I wrote the guy back. I said, well, maybe I wasn't specific in what I wanted. I said, could you send me the KIAs and the MIAs for that period? And I said, if at all possible, could you possibly put what unit they were with? And I waited 3 months. I told the wife, I said, well, that's a wasted effort. And then about 3 weeks later, I get this 25 pages of 844 names. And that was nowhere near complete with the ones there. I got to check that list and make sure I updated, but there are 844 names on there. And so then I've added, because your name came up later from Chuck Shaw. He put in trying to find his name, so I put you in there because you were listed, you were released from there. So you added to this list of 844. Well, anyway, so then I got that list, and then I started from there, and I started that Faith was on there, and then McLean was on there again, you know, so it was everybody. So I just didn't ask the right question. So it took me slow to get the stuff, you know.
Well, I remember one of the books. They were talking about Hill 1221, I think. And they were saying that somebody was interviewing Stanford. And then he says, I walked up this hill, just about to the top of it, and I looked back, and I could see all these little pockets of GIs down there, a few soldiers in each pocket, being slowly wiped out by the Chinese. And I turned and walked over the hill.
Well, you saw that part on that.
Wow.
American Experience. When they showed our area, how the guys were spread out, there were very few of us.
Right.
I mean, but we weren't in bunches. You know, but there was always that old thing, don't bunch up, one grenade can kill 6 of you.
Yep.
So don't be in groups. And there wasn't that much of us to group.
No.
And how could you defend, possibly, how did we even defend the area we defended?
Yeah. But the fact that Stanford actually said, I stood on top of this hill and watched these guys getting killed. And I turned around and walked away. Now, what kind of an officer is that?
Well,
Where's the
here's the
leadership,
thing.
right?
Here's the thing about Stanford. Here's the thing about Stanford. Appleman said in his book, he didn't say it, but Martin Russ did. But he said later that he had two or three meetings with Stanford. Now there was something wrong with Stanford that was irritating him or bothering him. He says, you lost communications with Hageru. But he had stated, my radio is strong enough that I can reach anywhere in the coast. He had this extra special, because he's going to reach in other words, he could reach the Navy
Flight
out of the Sea of
coordination.
Japan. He had a powerful radio. So the question come up, apparently Appleman failed to answer it. He showed up, and then finally it came out, and then, because Martin Rush got onto it, he asked him one day, what had happened? He says, the reason I lost communications is I didn't have the frequency to Hageru. He said, if somebody would have gave me one of them, gave me that frequency, or if they would have airdropped it, we would have been in business. I said, oh, what do you mean? So I said, okay, so I'm going back and let me see what the record says about this deal from the Signal Corps. Because when you got an SR radio, that means Signal Corps. That's Signal Corps radio.
Yeah.
So okay, so I go back there and I'm checking in there. And like I said, the 300 radio only reaches like 3 miles. You know, but you have that extra whip. You know, you got that extra whip and everything. So he says, I was capable of reaching anybody. I could have reached them if I had the frequency. So the thing in the Army, it says commanders will make sure that you have all the frequency charts. But the fact is, he wasn't connected to the Army, he's connected to the Navy.
Yeah.
So he should have had their charts. And plus, this is a Marine thing. This is the Navy chart again.
Right.
Plus, when he'd come in, he said he spent time while they were there, because he was there early. He was there 2 days, or at least from the 25th when Faith showed up, and those Marines that were left there till the 27th, he was intermingling with them. Why didn't they give him a frequency? Was it top secret?
Not from, shouldn't have
Why
been from
didn't he
him.
have a frequency? And I said, that's unforgivable. That's just unforgivable. And then he states that on the date we were breaking out, Faith told him, says, request we got at least 10 airplanes overhead. I said, well, Faith understood that he could, here was his chance saying, I don't have the frequency, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But I can relay from a pilot. Well, in the first place, on radio protocol, like he said, my call sign is boyhood 14. Well, that meant to contact, like on the, over on the Marine side, every battalion had a radio operator with them. That means to connect that guy, that pilot's got to call down, I'm boyhood 1-4, over, you know, respond. And then he's got to respond, who is this I'm talking to? That's radio protocol. So each have to pretty well know the other. And I says, I just couldn't understand that part of why he lost communication.
He was beating the hell out of his radio.
And then when then when he what was it, when he said he took over a company, I said, I got another version of that, there's another version of that. They never said, in the first place, he was attached as a radio operator.
Right.
He was not in the chain of command of the Army. He had no right to do that.
No.
And then the thing is, he accuses this other guy of, he went to here, like this first lieutenant or second lieutenant, he said that when that skeleton, that first guy that was killed, he said, he went out there, he heard the noise, he went out and he said that the captain was killed. So that guy told him, Army guy, first lieutenant or something, told him, says, well, you're the next highest ranking officer, you're in charge. So, I mean, we got a stupid officer like that, says he don't know this man isn't in your chain of command.
Jesus.
I mean, he's not dressed like you, he's got the Marine Corps on his outfit,
Right.
you know. And he's not in the chain of command. He has no responsibility to place them in. He got out there, so he told his other two radio men, you take care of the radio while I place these men in position. He said it just happened while he was going through training that he had some infantry training. He had like, I think like you said, 20 weeks or something, you know. So, which I put in, I said, well, I supersede him. I said, I was with 7 months with the 1st Cavalry Infantry. You know, so I said, he didn't top me. And I said, but I was never put in command that I had a right to, it was 7 months. I never was smart enough that I was put in, this is how you place men in combat.
Well, I understand the part about being the next highest in command, but it's next highest in command in your branch.
Yeah.
Not in the ultimate
And
branch.
he should have understood that as well as anybody. Like he said, well, he turned it over to me.
Yeah.
And,
I'm not sure that played out that way.
Oh,
In terms of it was turned over versus
and then he said, well,
his
the
job
first
was
thing-
to call in air control.
Well, the first thing it was, because it said there was a dispute, because the first thing in the morning, the guy come over and said they relieved him, he was wanting at headquarters. And then he never did like it. He said he never did like it because he had to stick with faith. I said, well, that's what you talk about a command post. Everything comes through the command post. I mean, you don't go out there on the tail end and say, these guys need help. Everybody needed help. You only had one man that's got to check it out. So you got to go through the command post where all the lines, and we still had we still laid the lines. And the lines are coming in and telling you what's most needed, you know.
Didn't Stanford say
I
something?
did get a kick out of Chuck Shaw gave me a thing. He said, did you know Mercer? I said, no, I didn't know Mercer. He said, well, Mercer was McLean's radio, and Jeep Rider. Now, McLean had left his big 230-pound radio back there to CP. He would have moved it forward because he was up there going to move his forward control up there where Faith was.
That's a truck mounted unit,
But he
isn't it?
never got around to it. Yeah. So anyway, so he had this little 300 radio on the 300, like the
SCR.
number 300 for the 3-mile range with the big whip on it, you know.
300
So-
SCR.
So he was moving around there, and Chuck sent me, he said, he got a hold of Mercer. Mercer lives in Canada. And he said he got his interview. You know, he got this interview. And he says, I got out here right before McLean was killed. He said, McLean got out there, and he said he got in touch with one of these flyers overhead. And he said, I want you to bomb this hill over there. He said, there's heavy fire coming from there. I want you to rocket that hill. Get rid of those enemy over there. And that guy said, well, you know, like, who are you? In other words, who are you? You're not one of the controllers. Who are you? And he said, Mercer said, McLean just came out real straight. He said, look, I got to come up there and stick my boot up your ass to make you move. He said, I'm telling you, I want those enemies dropped out. Yes, sir. I'll do it. You know. But then he said, when he went out, when he tried to stop the guys, because he thought it was our men, he said, that's when he killed. He said he was up a little higher on the ridge, and he was running down because he said he thought that was his 2nd Battalion coming through.
Right.
And he said, stop, it's our men you're firing at. It's a mistake. He said, that's when he got killed.
Captured and killed, actually.
Captured and killed, yeah. Yeah, they said they saw him, he was hit about 4 times.
Right. He
And
was
they said
banged
he
up
was
pretty
kind
bad.
of drug away.
Captured.
But they said, but see, the 300 radios, which we had a lot of, we had a lot of radios in artillery. Man, we go out over in Japan on maneuvers. We go out about, well, you weren't there, but we go out like the 15th of the month, which was good because you got paid early in the month. The 15th we were broke anyway. So it said, from the 15th to the 30th, we're going to hit.
Didn't have any script to spend, huh?
Yeah, so we're going to hit the field. We're going out in the field, you know. And I said, and I enjoyed that, except it rained so darn much, you know. We had the poncho. The poncho was great because it went over you. You know, you didn't have the raincoat. Like in basic training, you had a raincoat. You know, you couldn't do anything with a raincoat. That poncho was great. You know, it fit over you, and
You make a tin out of it.
Yeah, you just over your shoulder. You could move around in the darn thing, and anyway, we go out there. The winter, like that other guy I'm talking to down there, he said, man, he said, yeah, that winter we had. I said, yeah. I said that was fun. I said that was out camping. We had what they call a little weasel. A weasel was a World War II amphibious deal. Like it was like an Amtrak. Like we could have used them. We had about 4 of them at Camp Crawford. We could have used them for the reservoir.
Oh, yeah.
If the reservoir was still watery, you know. So, and it was Studebaker built it, and the motor was in the middle. And then we had a wire. We bolted a wire distributor on the back. You know, for the reel, we had the 1 mile of double strand wire for telephone wire. And we put out there, and we could strap that on the back. Well, we didn't have them, but in Hokkaido, we went out and had heavy snow, and those things would go down about 2 inches in the snow because of the distribution of the weight. We'd jump off and we'd go down to our knees in the snow.
Oh, wow.
Because we were trying to throw that wire off to the side.
Snow boot of vehicles, right?
Yeah, we did. Hey, back up here, I got to pull out of this stuff. You know?
Here's a track snow boot.
But we'd go out there and the guy would say, okay, he says, let's do like the Eskimos do. He said, let's take your little shelter half, get your buddy there, you know, your little pumpkin, get your buddy, button the thing together. A lot of birch trees around there, hundreds of birch trees. They're great to cut down. They weren't that thick, you know. He said, all right, he said, so dig down in the snow till you get to the ground. You know, your snow is about this deep. Dig down till you get to the ground. You don't have to dig in the ground. Okay, get your birch trees, lay them on top, cut the strands, lay them on top, take your shelter half, button it together, put it on top, throw some snow over it, but not enough to bend the leaves, then make you a little cutout there that you can go underneath. Man, you're in the warm, you're down there where the ground is, you crawl under there. That's
wow.
We did all that stuff over Japan.
Wow.
I said, man, that was fun. Let's go to the field again.
Well, had your homemade igloo,
Yeah.
Japanese igloo.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And guys, it's just amazing. Just talking to that other guy who was at Camp Crawford up there, because he remembered that, because I said, I got 2 pictures. I said, I want your email. I'm going to send you. I said, because I don't think anyone remembers that, about us digging those foxholes outside of our barracks.
Do you remember Benny?
Little Benny? Yeah. Yeah.
Which
There's
one,
your story, Bob.
Benny?
which one of you smuggled into Korea?
I got Shannon. Shannon's still alive. Shannon is up. He was a cook. Shannon is up in Montana, and he said,
Jack Shannon.
yeah, because he was telling me about you. You know, he kept asking me, do you know McMillin. I said, Grant, I said, it doesn't ring a bell. I said, I don't think he was with us at Chosin. Or up at Camp Crawford. Because he kept naming you. He said, well, we're the only three alive from 57. And he said, he's up in Montana, but he said, originally he's from Amelie, Illinois.
Yeah.
And he said his dad moved him up there when he was 6 years old. Well, he was telling me,
Well, let's get to Benny. I want to hear about little Benny getting.
well, little Benny was, well, the one advantage we had of being over in Korea was, we never had to do KP.
Okay.
We always pitched in like a quarter. Everybody pitched in a quarter in the kitty, and we hired that out to the Japanese.
Okay.
So Benny was one of the guys. He was what, about 17 or 18 years. He was helping out in the kitchen. So what Shannon told me is the guy, the cook, the top cook, sergeant, smuggled him on board ship. He wanted to go with us to Korea.
And he went.
And he went there and survived.
Yeah, he did.
And he sent me about 5 years ago, he sent me a pearl bracelet for my wife from Hokkaido. And he said he owns a restaurant over there, and he sponsors blind dogs for the blind.
This is little Benny the cook.
Little bitty guy. He'd been at the reunions, and he sent me. I just wish I could have gotten in contact with him. I've tried, but the email, apparently he changed his email or something. He sent me a thing you wouldn't believe about Camp Crawford. It's deserted. It was deserted. It was buried in snow, and they would get out there and have a festival where they would make these Godzilla monsters out of ice,
Yeah.
and they put lights on them.
Yeah.
And beautiful scenes. Oh God!
Yeah,
I
the
wish I
ice
could
shows they
have a
do in
printer at that
Japan are
time
unbelievable.
To really have held on how much. I just got a computer, but I just knew how to take it. Beautiful stuff. I mean, it was beautiful stuff. But the sergeant smoked, and he smuggled him on board and kept him on there.
Wow.
And he survived.
These guys, they got him a uniform. They had a hell of a time finding one that would fit him.
That's
He's
what I was
little,
going to ask.
So small.
Yeah.
Guy about this tall?
Yeah.
Looked like he was 12?
Yeah.
You get me on a computer, I'm going to show you a picture of a guy that E-Company kind of adopted as a...
Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like that one you sent me. Yeah.
But that's not him.
No, that's not him. No, because
Okay.
he was with the 57.
I was going to lose it.
No, he
That's
was
man.
he was with the 57.
So the 2nd Battalion E-Company called their guy. I don't know if he did KP or not.
They probably smuggled a guy.
But they called him Pancho Villa.
I got his life story, because they were talking about him, and he said when he went to school, he learned about George Washington. He learned about all that stuff, and he said he was kind of sympathetic to the American.
Was he a villager from Hokkaido? He's a nat.
I imagine his dad had to be in the Japanese army.
Okay. Well, we were talking last night, and I think it might have been you that mentioned that the people in Hokkaido, as a class, were totally separated from the Japanese.
Wrong door.
Were different opinions, about each sector of Japan. They had like their own, I want to say class, but I don't even want to say stereotype. What word am I looking for?
Culture.
Culture, thank you.
Yeah.
The Hokkaido culture was separated from the Japanese, a lot of the Japanese.
There's about 4 different cultures up in that area.
Oh yeah, well he was in the better class than apparently, because I don't think they're naturally well.
Yeah, they didn't pose any ill will towards Americans or otherwise.
Well, a lot of the guys just like the way they started that war. I don't know, but see, the war, the Second World War was just like it was now. They said we were trying to get trade, and they said the Japanese was on that war building thing, and it says the only thing with Japan doesn't grow anything. There was nothing made there.
No
All
materials to
raw
work
materials
with.
had to come in from somewhere else. And they said, we need rubber. Well, they needed it for cars. And it says, so that's when they went to
Vietnam and Philippines.
all those deals. And they said, the jungles and stuff. They said we need where they got rubber, and they were expanding on what they needed. And they said that was the only danger of it.
And make no mistake, they saw themselves as doing this sweeping move from Japan through China, back around and taking over a third of the country, or a third of the planet. And Japanese planned on telling the whole world.
Yeah, we had this
Welcome to
one
Tokyo.
guy, though, Grant, we had this one guy who was in the barracks. He was Indian. I mean, full-blooded Indian. And Frog was his name.
Oh, yeah.
The Frog with a
Harold
double.
Frog.
Did you hear about him?
I know.
Yeah, he was with a double G. Frog with a double
Is
G.
it Dot or Feather Indian?
And the guy was.
Dot?
And
I think so.
and he was in our barracks. And that guy, if he went in and got some fire water, somebody was going to have to put him out at night.
Yeah.
Well, that's Feather.
They were saying, man, that fire water really went to him, because man, somebody was going to, because he was going to fight somebody,
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
and you were going to have to knock him out to get him to sleep.
2 shots of the notion
And
potion
I
he was
I
on.
was told him, I talked to him because I got a hold of him, and I talked, because I missed being with the Chosin Few. They said, man, Ray, did you miss it? He says, he's a tribal leader up there. He said, man, they had the Chosin Few up there, casinos,
Oh, boy.
everything free.
That was-
Everything free, don't cost you
That
that.
was quite a deal up there.
Yeah,
Wow.
man, he top guy, casinos on me. So I asked him one time, I says, what happened to you? I said, he said, well, I re-enlisted. He said, but he laid out a second lieutenant, and he got court-martialed. And I don't know if he got a dishonorable discharge or anyway, because he never went into that. But he says, he got a hold of, he said, this squaw, he said, I got a hold of a gal in the tribe, she straightened me out. He said, man, she got me off the whiskey. And
Put the
he said,
wampum money?
yeah, he did. And she really laid it into me, and he said, I straightened out. I said, I said, when I met you, I said, I was kind of afraid of you, because I always thought you were some kind of an undercover agent. Because I said, whenever you went into town, you always came back escorted by 2 MPs. And I said, man, I thought you had presidential protection. I said, I was afraid to really get to be friends with you.
You're scary.
Milwaukee used to have that big festival in the summertime, and Harold got us to go march in that with the Indians.
Wow.
And then we went up to the casino there at Clear Lake, I guess it was. And they put on a show for us up there. And dancers and everything.
This is Wisconsin.
With the tribe.
So this is Wisconsin. Are we talking like the Chippewas? You know that?
I suppose that, yeah, it was the Chippewas that were doing it.
Okay.
But then he was, his address was Stone Lake, Wisconsin.
I'll have to check. My daughter has a Chippewa Indian heritage on her mother's side. I'll have to check with her. She knows all that stuff.
They told me to stop and get him one day at the reservation. And I drove back in there and I couldn't find anybody. And I finally got into this place and they had something going on with a powwow that was coming up. And I just got out of the car and the guy came over and said, who are you looking for? Harold Frog. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh.
So I went to one of
They sent me to a
our
bar.
maid of honor for a friend, our maid of honor for her wedding. She moved. She was in Chicago, but really she was my wife because she moved up to Wisconsin, and we went up there, and she's right in amongst all the Indian tribes up there, and there was a casino. And that's where my wife was in the casino, and her sister. And so Rosie took us out. She said, let's go to the casino. So we went up there, and I said, oh, there's handicap parking over there. Let's pull in handicap parking. Pull in, tribal members only.
Oh.
There were no handicap spots, tribal members only.
Wow. You want to take a break? You want to turn that off?
But he had
I got pictures of him, we're standing there at that door with him. And he was drafted for 2 years. But this Waterman guy, man, they couldn't bring him in line. He was drafted, and we had, like I said, this is 7th Division. And I said, I told him, I said, I'm sitting there, I just come back fresh from the cavalry. And I said the other night, I said, I'm sitting there, first night at the 1st Cavalry, at the 7th Division. I'm in there at the 31st Field Artillery. And there's Jim Otchie at that stucco building, little stucco building. So I'm in there and I'm polishing my boots. You know, I just got up, I did my stuff, and I'm ready, I'm dressed. Sergeant comes by. I said, Sarge, I said, what time do we march to Chow? He said, what do you mean march to Chow? I said, well, in the 1st Cavalry, we marched as a unit over to Chow. He said, well, we don't do that here. He says, I said, well, what time we go? He said, it's raining outside. What's that got to do with us, you know? Is there an importance in this thing, you know? So that's when he said, you want to go to Chow? Go to Chow. You know where Chow Hall is? Oh, God.
Why are you wasting my time talking to me? Go eat.
I said, what kind of an outfit am I with? But then that's where Frog was, you know. Frog was in there, and that's where I met Alden Urban. And it's funny, he was a guy that I thought, oh man, this is one guy I'm never going to be friendly with. You know, like first impressions, and I don't like this guy. You know, I don't like him. He's overbearing. I said, we became the best of friends. They're the best of friends. And then Swanson was in Illinois. He slept on one side of me, you know. And we had 26 guys, and that was our clique, though. That was our barracks. I mean, you didn't get to know a heck of a lot of, you know, some of the other guys, you know, like the cook or things, but, right. I mean, you didn't, radio was close to us. Radio was in the other building. We were the wire section. But the wire section was the details section. If you wanted something done, go over to the wire section. Because we're the guys who were the runners with the wire, and we were more athletic than the guys that sat there with the radios. You know?
Is that what you did with the weasel, use the weasels to run wire?
In the snow, yeah, we used them in the snow. We didn't need them.
And this thing literally floated above the snow.
Yeah, they'd go around because of the displacement of the weight. They'd only sink down with about 2 inches of the snow.
That's fantastic.
Because you've got that distribution. Same way we'd go out, we'd have to walk with the snowshoes. We have the snowshoes.
Yeah.
And we'd walk cross country in the snow with that. And it's just that little strand of thing on it. And all you did was sink down like a ½ inch in the snow. That snow could have been 4 feet deep. You're walking over it, and that snowshoe, the way it's distributed, would take care of it, you know.
Show this to Grant. Grant, I want you to see this. This is Ray Vallowe showed me this. Gave me this when I met with him yesterday. You might want to read the back of that.
Oh, wow. This never happened yet. I'll be done.
Yeah, that's what got a lot of guys to say, you know, like when he said, thank you for your service, you know. And I got the Purple Heart plate, and I said, just like his room number, like I told you, you can never guess what room number I got.
Yeah.
My license plate.
There's no reason to thank us because we don't exist. You never saw us. This never happened.
Yeah, you ought to take that downstairs where we're going to put it on the chair.
Oh, yeah.
That's
great.
Yeah, they had that occasionally. Somehow I got the 7th Division on my email from someplace, and they were advertising that for a limited time. I said, I gotta have one.
Wow, I can understand you getting one of those.
Yeah, that was from the 7th Division, now Earth Rise.
7? Yeah, they used to call that the hourglass.
Yeah.
But then it became the open beer can.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Church keys to open both sides.
I would have gone with the finished beer can.
Yeah, but I even run. I said, I even put in a book. I said, yeah. I said, 5 days of combat. I said, I think our hourglass is about to run out. I think our time's running out. The top is emptying into the bottom and dripping slowly, and every guy by is killed. And,
You were saying, Grant, that you were in Japan for 4 days.
4 hours.
4 hours, I'm sorry. Ray Cottrell was the one that was there for 3 days. So 4 hours. So you hit the ground and you if you're back on a boat. I mean, you literally had just enough time to get your shoulder patches
Well,
changed
they
out.
took my rifle away from me
Yeah.
and gave me a new one. And Cosmoing and everything, so I had...
Oh, did you get a carbine?
No, I have M1 Grant.
Oh, I'm surprised.
I was supposed to have a carbine because I was
Yeah.
artillery. But I had my M1 and I kept...
And they gave you another M1.
Yep, and I went over and cleaned that and got on the bus and we went across to the ship. And I was on a ship.
You were just that fast.
That's 4 hours I was in Japan. And then,
Oh, I would have hated that.
Did you make, so you made the Incheon landing?
yes.
Oh, yeah, you would, yeah. I would have hated that though, just coming into a new company, didn't know anybody, nobody knew you, and oh, God.
That's bad. But
And we were already in cliques, you know.
our biggest problem was being in the artillery, we didn't have any M1 ammo.
Yeah, it's all carbines, see, 'cause
All carbine ammo.
Here's a gun you can't use. Please carry this 9-pound log around with you the rest of the day.
see, the carbine is so, because you've got the trigger housing, see, you can't swing it across your back,
Yeah.
because the trigger housing would be right in back with your spine. Well, the carbine is laid out that it lays on your back. It lays there, flat.
Yeah.
You know, the thing comes off on the side, the strap comes off on the side. And when you throw it over, like we had to climb telephone poles, we had to put lines up overhead, and you take the carbine, swing it across, you don't leave it down at the end. It's with you, it's no problem, it's back there. It lays like, just like you're sticking it against the
That's
back.
short, this is a short
Strap
stock
goes
gun.
off from there, yeah, the strap comes off of the
Kind of like a
side.
paratrooper gun, if you will.
Yeah.
In terms of size and girth.
Yeah,
and
it's no
weight.
problem, no problem, it only weighed about 6 pounds, you know.
In Japan, they got me on a bus and I down to the ship.
And the first time
Onto a
I got
ship.
one,
Long
I
ship.
said, it reminded me,
Right out of the gate, they put you on the wrong
No,
boat.
they finally came out with a big launch looking for me. And I was on the wrong ship. So they got me and took me over and I got on the right ship. And the first thing they did was say, you reported to the wrong people.
oh,
So we got to give you punishment. By then we're out onto the ocean and we hit the tail end of the typhoon.
Right? Kiza?
Keisha, yeah, Keisha.
And I was sent to the bow of the ship to watch for mines in the water.
Oh,
And it was so damn dark out there, you couldn't see your hand right there.
right.
And I'm standing out there, and it's... And this sailor came out there, and he said, what in the devil are you doing out here? He said, I'm being punished for reporting to the wrong ship.
Oh,
And he said, well, I can't do nothing about that, but...
hey, remember, Grant,
He
look out.
went and got me foul weather here.
Yeah, you're not going to see anything here but water.
Remember Grant looking out of that armada of ships, you know, like there was 200 some ships there. You see all those names like the Lifeline, Betty Likes,
Yeah.
Susan Likes, and it was a L-Y-E-K or something like that, Lifeline. Whole line, that they were using those ships. But they were all named after women, you know.
Yeah.
All had girl things to them. Well, there's Betty over there.
Do you remember the name?
Factory ships, weren't they?
Do you remember the name of the ship they moved you to, or?
No.
No?
I remember mine. I went, it took me 14 days over on the ship was, yeah, the Mason M. Patrick. And underneath says United States Army Transport.
Yeah.
And I got to Busan. When we got to Busan and we were going to go up north, I'm looking at the ship, it says Mason M. Patrick. But there's no United States Army transport ship under it. So the guy was saying, hey, this is a nice ship. He says, you know, he says, they've got like mattresses on there. I'm like, hey buddy, don't lie to me. I spent 14 days on that thing.
Yeah.
12 of them seasick. So I remember this ship. I said, there are no things on there. All you got is a canvas thing with grommets on it, and you got a rope holding it to this outside rail. There's no support to it. I said, I was on E deck. I was the 5th one up, and I was under a big shut-off valve. Big thing, that the thing was like a steering wheel.
Yeah.
And I had to squeeze under that thing up on deck number 5 and come down.
5 levels of hammocks.
Yeah, 5 levels knocked down on each.
Oh my God.
We had a meal card because there was 800 people on the ship, so we only got like 2 meals a day spread out.
How'd you get in the hammock 5 levels up?
You had to climb on the one behind you, step because
Holy
you had
shit.
you had to put your foot on that one.
And you're doing a shift change every 8 hours.
So then
That's
and they
unreal.
they constantly had the fire hose out because everybody was throwing up.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was sick. I was over there 14 days. I was sick 12 of them. One day out of Seattle, I was all right. One day out of Tokyo, I was all right. Japan, I was all right. But man, between them, oh God, I went up and I get it. It was a diesel ship, powered by diesel, and they had those big vents come out at the top. And if you go up on the top deck, you'd smell that diesel mixed with fuel, with the smell of food coming up the same thing. And I'd get down there and I said, well, I'm on E deck, and that's below the water line. So we've got to go up to B deck where the gallery is to eat. And you had to stand up to eat. There was no sitting down. You stood at a tray, and your tray was there. And good thing you had to stack up, otherwise your tray was going to go this way and that way. So you had to fight to keep your tray there. And I said, but I'd go down there. I think the first day was all right. Second day made it pretty good. Third day I'm going there. I'm smelling the food. I'm smelling the diesel fuel. I'm down here. I got to get up.
There's a little bit of this going on.
I got to throw up. I got nothing in my stomach, but I got to throw up. And man, it was like that. And I was getting all kinds of suggestions, especially from those guys that run the ship, And oh God, that ship was always flushing it down, So I didn't make it to the rail, or if you did, somebody below you was throwing up, and you hit him.
Or worse yet, somebody above you was throwing
that
up.
was miserable. Oh man, I was 14 days. Good gosh.
I'm glad you guys can laugh about that now.
Oh, but they had a little newspaper on there, and they tell us each day how many miles we went. I think the first day, boy, we got a full 200 some miles out of Seattle, and then we start getting near the date line. It says time of today, 24 hours. Okay, we start getting near the date line. Time today, 25 hours, 15 minutes. Time tomorrow, 26 hours, 30 minutes. What's going on here? Okay, so November 1st. November 2nd was election day. That's when they elected Truman again.
Yeah.
November 2nd was, so the guy said, all right, he says, time to set your clocks. We're going the other way now. He said, midnight. He says, it's November the 1st now. Midnight is November the 3rd. So we missed November 2nd. It's
So this,
gone. We're
so
going
this
over
is
the date line.
1947. You missed November the 2nd, basically.
Yeah.
They took it off your calendar.
Yeah. Yeah. This election day is gone.
They stole a day of your life,
it's gone.
and you can't get it back.
And oh God, I mean, there was a lot of things. Then we got on that ship. Then I got on the ship, and that's the one we got on the 19th of October, and 20th was my birthday. I turned 20 on that ship. The first day on the ship, and then they decided we sat there, and then see the Marines. They call what they call Operation Yo-Yo. See, in order for MacArthur to keep Alman separate from 8th Army, you cannot have a corps inside of an army. It's got to be united with that army.
Yeah, area
So
of operations.
that's when it started. MacArthur said, I want the Marines pulled out the way they came in at Incheon. Put them back on the ship. Well, they were out there about the 3rd or 4th of October. They were supposed to land the 20th up at Wonsan.
Couldn't do it.
Well, the harbor was mined, so they couldn't get in there till the 29th. And they said when they did get in there, Bob Hope was already holding an amateur show.
Oh, yeah.
Say welcome aboard, guys. Where the hell you been?
So anyway, so then by that time, that's when Allman, snap your fingers, say, well, we're going to follow the Marines in at Wonsan like we did at Incheon. Administrative landing, so we don't have to be combat completely ready, you know. So, okay, well, he's decided, well, before we leave, I'm going to land you guys 150 miles further up above the Marines at Ewok. All of you have to change ships. So I had to go over and pick up a guy from another ship, bring him back, you know, to our ship, and you have to start shifting around.
Oh, see, I wasn't aware of that part. I knew about the Ewok, but I didn't know about the
and then when we got, then here I'm on the Mason M. Patrick, you know, and I said, yeah, you did. They had the match, like we had, you know, like a 4-inch match, you know. So that part was true. But I said, then it says, okay, you guys with the artillery, you got to go in an LST, the landing ship tank, where the big one's going to open.
Right.
The doors are going to open sideways,
Yeah,
so your trucks can pull out.
Like the Normandy invasion, yeah.
Yeah, this was a big job. I'm up on the top deck, and I'm sitting. I'm right there. There's a 50. I'm behind a 55-gallon drum of oil or gas, whatever it was. Well, I'm up there, and I'm watching this thing coming in. You know, we're heading towards the shore. Well, any minute now they're going to slow up speed. Not true. Hey. There's the beach there. You got to mount on that beach. You got to go up on that beach.
Right, you got to
And
mount it.
I got my gut went into the rim of that darn barrel. And I said, I wonder I didn't flip over that barrel. I mean, man, oh God! I said, oh man, I had a tummy ache. But then we got off there, and that's why we got so far north. And that thing in there, what Ron gave me all those cutouts this morning.
Yeah?
No, in his box here. Did I send him?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, that trail where I showed you we had to go back to the coast.
Yeah.
Well, they show off on that one thing. It might be on the other one side of one thing because it's red. It shows that little map, and on the other side it shows where we come around. The point was it's that way to Ewok. We had to come in where we landed and bypass that, go to that shore, and there was a cutoff to Ewok where we came in. We had to bypass that, go down to Puk Chong, the railroad station, and then we had to go over to the road leading from Hung Nam up there to 72 miles.
Talking about this map?
That one. See where it shows Ewok?
Yeah.
It shows you. That's how far back we had to. Now, when you're seeing where the 7th Division starts off with up there,
Yeah.
and where we were, the 31st, that is where the Fusen Reservoir is. The Fusen Reservoir is only 20 miles from Chosin, as the crow flies.
As the crow flies, to the east
20
of
miles.
Chosin, yeah.
That's the path we had to take to try to get out of a dirt mud road, like I say, a cow path, to get on something that was decent that we could pick up some time. And he said even the total time comes out to probably about 10 miles an hour.
So you
About
came
10 miles an hour.
So you came all the way back to Puk Chong, just swing back north.
Yeah. And so I counted that in my book. I said they said we were there like 5 days, 4 nights, 4 days, 5 nights, 5 days, 4 nights. I said I counted that from day one because when we started the trip, I said so we had about 9 days wrapped into this thing.
Was there anything in this that Ron bought you that was news to you, surprised you?
Well, this was all stuff I gave him.
Okay.
He asked me today. He said now. He said with you. He said do you have any problems or any disputes with Julia Precious? I said no. I said I got none with her. I said as a matter of fact, I said you got to talking about that chaplain. Well, Julia was putting this together, and I said I happen to have all three of her documents of her discs.
Disc.
The first one she sent me, she narrated it.
Right. That was the best one.
And so the second one she gave me at Faith's funeral. She completed it. And I said, then it so happened was, because she asked me then, for that one, she had a copy for me. And I saw her when she came there, because Joe kind of kidded me, hey, isn't that Rusula there? I said, yeah, it looks like Julia Precious is with him.
Yeah.
So I went up there and I told her, I said, I'm going up and talk to her. So she was up near the front of the chapel. And I said, Julia, I said, what I sent you, did that help you? She said, oh, tremendously. She said, I was locked in on getting this thing finished. But what she did, she asked me at the final, it was over this chaplain deal. She had put that in there on her thing. She wanted to put that in there that this chaplain said that about us. And she had a script of the article. And I'd never heard of that before. And she said, the Army says I can't do this without getting this cleared. Where did you get that quote? In other words, like LaBrie.
Just like, yeah.
Where's your source for this? That you want to put this in there. You can't put that on there unless you. So she said, Ray, can you help me out? She said, I'm asking Rusula. Anybody, I need to try to get this thing done. I said, talk about fate. I said, I just drew up something on here, and it's on, you'll see it on the tape. Up in the corner is a thing that says Time Magazine. You're just going to see it right before this article comes up. There's a little article that says Time Magazine. I said, I just got this up. I said, Time Magazine has said they're going to rerun that article. And I said, they credited it, it was in a magazine named Fortnight.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was a monthly thing or weekly thing, but they published it. And he says, we are going to republish it. But you have to be a subscriber to Time Magazine. And I said, I'm not a subscriber. And I said, by the time I got on there, this timeline may have elapsed.
Yeah.
I said, so if you are a subscriber or you know anybody that is who can bring that up and copy it, you're home free. And then I didn't know what happened to it, you know.
Yeah.
And then I find out when I got the tape up on, she got that little corner there. That was on the other one. I don't know if it's on this recent one or not. I never, but she had it in that. I think it is because she's got this snap on there. But so that was the second one. So then I'm asking Joe. I said, well, she's got the third one. And Joe said, yeah, because she gives me credit for pictures on there.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm looking in my book. I said, well, Joe, on the book I got on for free on the Korean War Project, I said, I've got Face Stone on there. I said, how come that's not in my book? He said, Dad, you got the book printed before we went out there.
Yeah.
I said, well, I'm confused here. I said, when did we go out there? He said, well, Christmas. He said, you came in for Christmas, and we were going to Andrew's graduation in South Carolina.
Right.
You had a winter graduation around Christmas.
Yeah.
And he said, while I was up there to him, Joe said, let's take a run around and see if they put out a stone.
Yeah.
Around Christmas. And it was there.
Yeah.
Because his Medal of Honor is in gold. It's in gold lettering on that stone.
Gold filigree. Yeah.
And so Joe took a picture of it. Joe's good on taking pictures.
Yeah. It is a good looking.
And then we
Yeah.
forwarded those to Julia Precious.
Mm-hmm.
And she started off with the first one she narrated, which I wish she would have done this last one. She narrated it. And she started off like Appleman's book, like when it started. He says, the memory of the guys that died at Chosin. He said, there are no monuments. There's no monuments marking their resting place. There are no marble monuments in Arlington like in any other war. In other words, we just don't exist.
Yeah.
This never happened. In other words, you just don't exist. It says, so there's no marble marking. So she changed that on the end of this one. She showed that marker. She says, now we have marble markers. In
Now there is.
Well,
All right, Jim, well, I'm going to go stretch my legs for a minute.
yeah, I got this thing, because man, there's a lot of walking into this place.
Well, would you like to
one
get
side I get, you know.
you want us to get a chair or you want to keep getting the exercise? I'm just going to take a little break for about half an hour. Buy me a soft drink and give her a little break for the camera.
Yeah,
and all that.
so I don't know what's going on. Now Ron came by and he brought me this stuff. I said, well, you got copies of it? He said, I got it on the computer. But he said, this is the stuff you sent me.